Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, Warehouse Club doesn't price match their own sales flyer, or so they say. Cut up these chairs and desks and throw them away, they don't belong in my department. Motivate your workforce for you. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Warehouse Club doesn't price match their own sales flyer, or so they say. Back in mid-October 2019, I purchased a new Microsoft Surface Pro 7 from a Warehouse Club known for great food samples. Awesome computer, still works just as great to this day. When the sales flyer came out for November, my new computer was going to be on sale for $200 off the purchase price. Sweet, I've still got the receipt, I'll just get $200 back. I go into customer service with my receipt and the flyer. The CS rep looks at them, looks it up in the computer and says she can't do it. I'm a little surprised, I've had the computer for 2 weeks. The rep asks her manager to come over, who explains to me that due to fraud issues they've had, they cannot price match their flyer. The manager states that he can process a return for the item. I tell him that I really don't want to return the item because 1, all my personal info is now stored in it, and 2, it's a waste for the company to have to take back my used computer and sell me a new one at the lower price. I explain this to the manager, but tell him for $200, I'm not going to just let this go without a resolution. He reiterates, I can process a return for a laptop. He really emphasized the "they" and did not say "your." The light bulb goes off. I look at my receipt and realize that they do not track serial numbers with purchases. I thank the manager for his time and walk inside the store. I get an exact duplicate of my new computer, and purchase it for $200 less than what I originally paid. I then take the new unwrapped computer, and get back in the return line. I get a different rep altogether and tell her I'd like to return this laptop. I hand her the unit I just purchased, with my receipt for the more expensive computer. She looks it up and realizes that I've bought 2 of the computers, including one just minutes before. She calls over the manager, who looks at me, nods, smiles, and processes the return for the higher-priced computer. I got a refund for the more expensive price, didn't have to turn in my computer with personal information, and because I never opened the new one, the company didn't get screwed out of a new computer and was able to put it right back into their new stick. Cut up these chairs and desks and throw them away, they don't belong in my department. In our behind the foundry line we had a room that housed all of the pumps/gauges/computer controls for the line. In the back corner of the room there was desks and some chairs that maintenance salvaged from the offices when they were upgraded. The maintenance crew would sit back there, sketch out plans for a project or waiting for a call if they weren't doing other work orders, and half the time they'd take their breaks there because they were too tired to walk up to the cafeteria. This was kind of hidden from open view and it was an unauthorized break area, but no one really cared because it kept maintenance close by for breakdowns. One day we had a breakdown of over an hour in our department. It had taken too long to fix in the superintendent's mind, and he was PO'd. He goes back behind the line into that room toward the end of the shift and went off on them, calling them lazy asses, etc., etc. There is an overlap of the shifts for maintenance, so each previous shift can let the incoming shift know of any issues that need addressed. With second shift they're hearing the butt chewing of first shift. After the superintendent was done with his tirade, he told the crew on second to get rid of all of these desks and chairs in his department, cut them up and take them back to melting. He didn't want to see them there when he comes back into work tomorrow. Well, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. As in our union contract we are not allowed to disobey a direct order. The next day he comes in a little before the shift and goes right to the pump room. He doesn't see one desk or chair. He then checked in with a foreman for a second and then went up to the offices. Not a single desk or chair there either. He got his wish. All of the filed papers in the offices and other office equipment was on the floor. No desks or chairs in his department, just as he ordered. When second shift came in at the end of the day, he went off on them asking WTH they were doing, cutting everything up. They knew what he meant. They replied they were just following orders, and didn't want to be called lazy for doing an incomplete job, so they did everything within the scope of his direct order. If he wanted just those desks and chairs in the pump room destroyed, he should have been more clear. He tried to write up the second shift workers for destroying company property, but it went nowhere since they followed his orders. The superintendent and foreman's offices had to have desks and chairs express shipped so that they had a place where they could do their paperwork on. As a side note, since they no longer had a place near the line from where they could respond within under a minute, they would take their breaks in the cafeteria, from where it is at least a 5-minute walk to the line before they could start working on the breakdown issue. I was told by a foreman once that for every minute the line was down, it would cost GM $3,000 from front to back for all of the workers that were left idled waiting on the line to start up. Well, after a couple of weeks the chairs and desks were eventually allowed to reappear so maintenance could be at the ready to respond within a minute. One additional 5 minutes of downtime due to walking from the cafeteria would pay for the whole maintenance crew for a whole week. Motivate your workforce for you. I was running engineering projects for a client, and their workers were very lifestyle-focused, good for them, but this meant they often refused necessary meetings as they saw them as an inconvenience. I escalated this to their management, and got shrugged off and told to sort it out myself. Informal chat over a coffee later, and I found that they had a crazy car mileage reimbursement policy that the unions had slipped in that was 3x over what was normal. They could make significant amount of money while driving on company time, but rarely if ever had a reason to. Solution to my problem? I found a remote site 50 miles away down a highway, and the client team attended every meeting after that. They made more from traveling to the meeting than they did from their salary on those days, all at management expense. The fallout? Management now had a widespread problem of everyone using this technique. They had to spend far more time and energy in stopping people attending meetings they didn't need to be at, compared to if they had just fixed the original attendance problem. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.